last week, and I just wanted to make sure that we're all streaming right before I start doing a big intro. So instead, you've got some CRL Freefall ASMR. How does that sound for you? I think there's a penguin in. I think we're live. Are we live, Lee? I don't know. Oh, I've just spoiled his commentating with me. Oh. Let's see.
I think we are.
I think we're live. I don't know. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, we are, I think. Yeah, we are.
We are. The pings went live. Good evening, then, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Code Racing League. It's a Monday night. It's Tier 5 time, and I am once again joined by my good friend. I won't say it this week. It's just Lee. He's not little Lee. It's Big Lee. How are you doing, mate?
I am not too bad, Scott. Yeah, excited for another round of action. I've taken the Joker's book last week, so I should be quite ready for this week.
Last week, and speaking of last week, it was of course the season opener in Austria. We've came from one historic track in the form of Austria here to another one in Suzuka, Japan for round number 2. We'll give you a little bit of info on that, but to begin with, I'm going to hand you over to my main man. How did the race go last week, Lee? Because you were in full flow state, mate.
It was chaotic last week, very entertaining race from start to finish. I mean, it started off where we barely even got the start properly because we forgot there was no formation lap, and then chaos. But yeah, Riordan, who was out tonight again, the reserve took the win. CR Natra, who cannot make it tonight, he took second. So the driver, so Thomas Tiptop round up on this. Then your points were Murphy in 4th, AFL 5th, BX37 Pro in 6th, Curly in 7th, Pancake 8th, Hedgehog 9th, Spider in 10th, Pope in 11th, and Kieran in 12th, who was then left the league after his tantrum. Put it like that.
Yeah, reserve, and there's also Scooter Claim has left the league as well, so there is going to be a full-time seat available after this week. There also might be some chopping and changes because it's going to be the first 2 rounds. Normally we do the first 3. It's a slightly short season this time, so we're going to do it after 2 if there's any changes to the grids. There might be the odd one here and there, but enough about that, Lee. It's Japan time. We're here in Suzuka, 3.6 miles long, 5.8 kilometers long, 18 corners, 10 to the right, 8 to the left, and some very, very famous ones. Ben, BX37 Pro, is currently on the first lap, just coming through one of those favourite corners. It's, of course, Degna 2 underneath the bridge. Long run up, or short run up, I should say, up to the hairpin. Oh, we're getting the stumbles out of the way early tonight. A little bit of a twitch from the rear of the Haas as he rounds the corner of 12 on a long run down, sweeping sort of straight all the way to 13 and 14. It's the famous spoon curbs. First apex, you've got the line up good. To get your second apex, even better. Nice acceleration. So down the back straight here, you can see a grid that used in some of the other layouts and formats for this circuit, but that's not one we're too interested in here because it's the run down to the final corner before the grid, 130R, and then the famous casino triangle of 16, 17 and 18. Really got to nail these 3 corners, Lee, to sync up a lap. And the first lap for Ben for qualifying tonight, it's a 1:28.9. Pole time, we're expecting a low 28, maybe creeping into those 27s if one of our guys can link up a lap. But we'll wait and see how she goes, Lee.
Yeah, Thomas Tiptop going to the top of the timing at 28.9 as well. Next up on the lap, I believe, is I'm actually not too sure it's next up on the lap. It's the Alpine, I believe, as MKP goes fastest with 27.8. It's the Alpine of Riordan. Into the Casio triangle he goes. A little bit understeer, the marbles on his tires. Car steps out across the line for Riordan up to the line. It's pole originally by just under a tenth to MKP. Riordan there from the first. Next up, I believe, is the Williams of Will. He comes through the chicane now, taking it very nicely. Obviously, Will didn't race last week. He's here for his first round of 0. Up to the line for him, it will be 28.9 goes P5. But everyone is getting the first lap saying, get a banker in around here is very important. It's also, you don't want to push too hard because, it's very, very easy to smash the car into the wall and ruin your qualifying.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's one of those circuits where it is about pushing to the absolute limits. We're on board there with Mean Moody. He just comes up the line, but full battery in the tank will be going for another one. We'll catch up with him later. But like you say, Lee, you've got to push it right to the limits and not step over them, because we have seen plenty of big incidents here in the past. There's an 80% chance, going by the history of CRL, that there will be some form of safety car, whether full or virtual. 27, just shy of 27% anyway, that there'll be some sort of rain as Ghost Angel 1 rides up onto the curbs out of Digna 2, and that's one of the places where you can lose it easily on those curbs, off into the right hand wall, and bang goes your suspension. So there might be a few close calls, maybe some even closer. Fallon on a lap then, looks to be the winning car, definitely on a lap, a few on an out lap, a few likely on an in lap. He comes up through the Dunlop curve at the end of the first sector with a 31.9. I'm not too sure how that ranks in, but going by the graphic, pretty good. Purple sector 1, according to that famous Degnas. Then once again, Lee, and this hairpin can make or break your lap, mate.
Yeah, it can. Like, it's also like people take different ways. You can either go tight to the inside and come as an exit and have better corner speed, but then also I see a lot of people go out wide and then go for the better exit as Gautier coming through the spoon curb. Very good corner there, despite your braking point there, and if you go too wide, you can Gautier up to the end of the middle sector in the Ferrari. Apparently it's purple, I'm not too sure about that. As you come to see, there's a little bit of traffic there. Williams out of the way. There's Mercedes ahead who shouldn't get in his way. Maybe we'll put him off a little bit, but nothing too big. Up to the line for Gautier in the Ferrari. This will be a 29.0. He goes P6.
A lot of cars. Look at that. Tombo tip top all the way down to Victor Mean. P3 to P7, 28, 29, 28, 9, 28, 9, 29 flat, 29 flat. 1,000 separating Gautier, Laflon and Victor Mean at the moment. We've seen that here before in the past. Two cars putting identical lap times in. I think it was all the way back in season 4. Not quite sure which division, but I can remember there was an instance of something like that happening where two cars put the exact same lap time in qualifying, and it was just separated by who set it first. WTL Curly on a lap then looked to just about keep it within track limits on the exit of Degna 2. A 32.5. It flashed up purple sector 1. I do know that was a little bit off what we seen Gautier put, but a good second or third sector here could really improve on what is becoming quite an experienced driver on this grid. He's been about for a few seasons, has Curly, and he's trying to just keep improving and pulling himself up the table. Let's see what lap he can do for his first here in Japan. That run out of the double apex spoon curb, run down then to 130R, and this is all a bit about bravery. He does not lift. I don't think many cars will be lifting, specifically in the qualifying trim. Might change in the race with a fuel load and maybe some worn tyres. We'll wait and see. Out of the Casino Triangle, Haugen at that right side to minimise the track length, but it is a 30.1 Curly's first time. A McLaren in the background, I believe that was Victor Mean, does improve ever so slightly and up to a 29.016.
Yeah, time's really close at the moment, what I'd like to see here in Tier 5. But I believe AFL is actually on the lap going through Spoon now. Brake shot to the 50, you want to rotate it in, send it in, he does well. You want to try and run a bit out wide, maybe a little bit too slow in minimum speed in the corner, we get a good exit. Going down the straight here into 130R, where we've seen that famous overtake between Alonso and Michael Schumacher all those years ago, Scott. About nearly as old as you, but
I was about to say, I'm surprised you're old enough to remember that. That was years gone by. That was back in the olden days when Murphy and Fandango were little nippers. AFL though, up to the line, first lap, it is a 1:30.1 joining that club alongside Claudia. A little bit of a disconnect there between the top 10 and the bottom 10 at the moment, but we're only just at the halfway point here, Lee. 3 sets of tyres, maybe 2 if some of them opted for the harder compounds, we don't quite know, but most of them will have 3 or 4. The softs, they are probably a slightly weaker race tyre, just the degradation. It is a bit lower than maybe some years previously, but there is 2 schools of thought here really, the soft medium and the hard medium strategy, so wait and see how that plays out. Murphy on a lap, a 31.5 for his first sector, puts him up there with a good shot at mixing at the front. Of course, he put it on pole last week, he didn't quite have the race come together, just a little bit of a mix-up, getting a pain involved in an incident. I believe it was I think it was a track limits pain that I think it did eventually get removed. I can't quite remember, to be honest. It's been a bit of a long weekend, shall we say. But Murphy, the old man admin of the tier, on the run down to 130R and 11.4 for the send of the second sector. Again, not too sure how that shapes up, but we'll see how his casino triangle shapes up. It looks to be keeping it pretty neat, as Mark Wilson is showing the pace that he's getting on this wheel, a 28.240. How can Murphy match it? He can match it, but not by enough. 4,000s, 400s and 9,000s. There we go, I got there eventually. Lee, separate our top two. What a lap by both of them.
Yeah, Mark Wilson there. As you said, as we chose last week, maybe he'd be struggling in the first race or pre-season or whatever, but he'll get the grips of that wheel and he'll be back where he is. Chimp up to the line. P3 for Chimp. Very good after him. Going on a 28.6. But yeah, Mark Wilson, as we discussed, he'd find the pace and he's found it here. That was excellent enough coming out of nowhere, but Riordan, I think he's gone to the grass, he spun it and he's out. Riordan's out of Conley. One of the favourites of Paul will be said is out of Conley with 7 minutes to go. He has set an up, so he will stay people at the moment, but he definitely fall down. But Riordan will not be your pole sitter here in Suzuka.
Losing it on the Dunlop curb there, and it is, yes, like we've said, is one of these circuits where you've got to push, you've got to give your everything, you've got to commit to every corner, to every traction zone, to every braking zone, but if you commit that little bit too much, it will punish you very, very, very harshly. And Riordan, the first one to feel the wrath of these Japanese barriers. We're on board then with Spider Rob, as he, or CRL Spider as he's known now, comes through the first corner. We'll get a ride on board, and well, we're not, because he's made me look like a bit of a mug. Seems to be slowing down and regrouping for another lap, so we'll maybe get a lap on board with him later on. Topher, the only car yet to set a qualifying time yet, a 14.7 up to the second sector, so must be said, isn't going to set the heather alight with this one, but we've seen the importance of getting a banker in Lee. Riordan down to P5 as Ben's put in a 28.6. At least he's got that. The worst he can be now, or the best he can be, sorry, is P5. He's got a lap on the board. Topher's going to get his in, and is enough to jump from P20 to P19. And Warrior Huntsman, sorry, is another one without a lap. How did I miss Warrior?
I don't know, Scott.
Old age kicking in, maybe. It must be.
Yeah, rubbing off me with the eyesight, probably. That's what it is as well. Up to the line in the Williams, he goes P3 at 28.6. 4 drivers on a 28.6. Jesus. That is... Wow, that's interesting. Scotty up to the line. P3 on a 28.5. It's good in the top two, who are only separated by half a 10. Third down all the way to 9th is 2/10.
It's crazy. Yeah, like 2 in the 1 in the 5, sorry, 4 in the 6, 2 in the 7s. Then that little, it's only 2 and a bit tenths from P9 MKP to happening out at the back, but there is going to be some final runs coming in pretty soon. We'll ride on board then with Spider, give him his little bit of fame and TV time, as I think he will be one of the few cars on a flying lap here. Goes a little bit wide through the last of the S's, compromises his exit a little bit into the Dunlop left-hander, and now we'll ride on board. How brave is he going to be through this first Degna? Again, there's 2 school of thoughts. Do you brake? Do you lift? Some people just downshift and floor it. It really is all about maybe the setup and just how brave you're feeling. And I think Rob is pulling out of this lap. I wonder if he's going to come into the pits. I wonder if he's got enough fuel maybe just to go again on these tyres. We'll wait and see, but Rob not happy with the way that qualifying lap was shaping up. Hedgehog was on a lap. He's invalidated his and will be looking to recharge that battery and go again. I think Gotti and will both be coming into the pits, try and get a fresh set on and go for maybe a shootout at the pole. So I think, Lee, if I'm right in saying it, will be an Aston Martin of EFL will be our next car to actually start a flying lap.
Yeah, he will be the first man to start your fun lap, but as you said, you need maximum commitment to set a good lap around the track. AFL currently on a 130.1. There is kind of separation between from 12th downwards here, but AFL, if he can set a good lap, he can get her up there. As he comes now to start his lap, he'll go into the catcher triangle, set it up, just go slowly, regain your ERS, get yourself set, and he'll get on the power now. It used to be an up bump there, but that's now gone in the past few games. Thankfully now on the main straight, this is where we will see most of our overtaking, and down at the turn 1 here, although You end up breaking the turn where it's 1 for turn 2, you go break, goes well, it goes a little bit deep, but then cuts back inside. Then going through the S section, you just want to send it there and hope the car sticks. AFL, flying through these corners, maybe a little bit slow to that one, but he's very nice to the rest of the curbs. Goes a little bit wide through here, but you can get the inside and then get a good line. Now, come to the end of the first sector, what would be for him? It would be a 32-2. He's up by 2.5 tenths. Coming into Degner 1, Degner 2, very committed from AFL. Now, under the bridge, as you go up to the hairpin, one of the trickier corners on the track, you brake just at the end of the curb on the outside. Bring the nose in, uses the curb a little bit, and gets a nice exit. As you come down now to the other half of the track, down, getting yourself ready for spoon curb, just getting ready now as he brakes just after the 50 for the first part of spoon. Goes a little bit wide, that's very wide. His lap stays valid, but he's going to back off, I think, and regroup.
Yep, going to back off, try it once again. We're going to jump on board quickly then with the McLaren of Warrior Huntsman. Mean Moody has retired, I believe that is in the pits. Warrior Huntsman going very wide on the spoon curve though. He was looking to sort of just one and done it with this qualifying session, the reserve in for CRL Nacho this week, but hopefully for him a little bit of fuel in the tank. That red fuel light is flashing however, so it might be tight for this, of course. With there being only a minute and 40 left in this session, it may not matter. You don't really need to do an in-lap as such to try and get and go again, and it looks to be no, he is going to pull into the pits and just call it a day for qualifying. He's not going to have enough time to get back out. Murphy is on a lap by the looks of things. Oh no, he's just
on his lap and backed off.
Ah, right. I was wondering if he was just, but he's not in the third sector. He's got to be careful. He's got an Alpine approaching at pace behind.
Yeah, it is. Oh, Ghost Angel's on a lap here. Hopefully Murphy moves. He doesn't. Oh, Murph. Ghost Angel is on a falling lap. That could be a report where he didn't necessarily block him per se, but he definitely stopped Ghost Angel from being fully committed. So that could be a penalty for Murph on the way, but that's obviously if it's supported. But next on the lap, I do believe is Chimp. I think he's 2 tenths up in the first sector. Not too much ERS, so I'm not sure if he had a lap and if he went for a lap and they made a mistake and just didn't save his ERS or something. Going now into the second part of spoon, good exit, and now on to the back straight here. Will he be up on his time? Chimp, he'll be derating already, which is not good really for that time. He's down by a 10th. As here he comes round 130 yard into the Casio triangle for Chimp. Down on his time, but can he regain to the chicane? Oh, he's backed off into the pits there. I think he knew as Ben. He's backed off as well. Everyone maybe doing more. That's Mark Wilson on his fine lap. He's out of qualifying. Just seeing that there. So he's out. Next up, I believe, will be Murph, who was a 10th down in the first sector.
Tom Tip Top just to interrupt, came up to the line there. Lee up into P3. Murph though on his lap is down. Gotti, we'll keep it. Gotti! Oh, he could be one to watch.
Yeah, Murph as well. He's up by a 10.5. So Murph going for Paul into the chicane. Can he hook it up? It goes a little bit deep, but then regains it. Gets a good exit out of the chicane. Murph, can he get 2 poles out of 2 here up to the line? He gets it for now. 28-0. But Gotti, as you said, he's one to watch. He was 2 tenths up at the end of the middle sector. Gotti, can he steal pole? He cannot. It's P3. And I believe, unless anyone behind improves, no, I don't think they will. Murphy is on pole again. The qualifying merchant, can he turn it into something good in the race? Sorry, Murphy, I love you, really.
Murphy does, like you say, makes it 2 out of 2. Can I just say as well, I said pole would be a 28-0, and I've got it absolutely bang on.
Hey!
I know my stuff. But it is an all Ferrari 2-3. I was going to say a second row, but it's not quite. It's half a row 1, half of row 2. Alfa Romeo of Tom Tiptop going to slot in P4, and then it's an all Williams row number 3. MKP in 5th ahead of Will Simpo on his debut for the season. Of course, missing last week, P6. Ben in P7 ahead of Chimp. That is a very interesting and strong row 4 as well. And it's been, I think it's been kind of common knowledge maybe in past seasons here, Lee, previously Tier 4, maybe Tier 5, or Tier 5 nowadays, that there was maybe only 3 or 4 drivers you could count in the fight. We've got a solid 8, 9 or 10 here. you know, just to go over that again then for you that maybe missed my ramblings. Murphy ahead of Mark Wilson. It's an AlphaTauri Ferrari 1-2. Got Flo in the sister Ferrari in P3 ahead of Tomo Tip Top. MKP and Will Simple make it an all Williams row 3 ahead of Ben and Funny Oz Chimp in the 7th. As he's actually called, in P9 ahead of Mighty Baguette. Victor Mean Curly 11th and 12th ahead of Pancake and AFL in 13th, 14th. The past champion of Hedgehog lines up with his past teammate of Ghost Angel 115, 16th ahead of Spider, Topher, Mean Moody and Warrior Huntsman, the only car not getting a lap time in, trying to do a one and done around Suzuka. But now, Lee, it comes down to 27 laps around the famous Japanese circuit. It's dry at the moment, but she's a little bit cloudy.
Yep. It is. We'll see. Now, I do remember no formation up, so we're going to go straight into it, Scott. Just a reminder for you.
Straight in from the get-go. It is a little glitch with the game, the formation map, and it must be said, I did notice it on Thursday night as well, and earlier on tonight, that it does mess about the commentary teams a little bit, purely on the fact that you can't like get the graphics up and ready to go, so you maybe just need to bear with me to see what tyres on. We'll touch on that at a point. But while the drivers formulate their strategy, make any small adjustments, we've been through last week's results. Of course, they reflect the Drivers' Championship, but we've got the combined Constructors' Championship here as well. And it was a good week for Haas last week. 42 points picked up in here, Tier 5. Of course, Riordan in as a reserve, picking up 30 of those, given a good haul. They sit top of the pile with 113, only 11 ahead of Alfa Romeo. Ferrari and Aston Martin joint P3 with 96 points apiece. McLaren 5 behind those with 91. Red Bull on 62 ahead of the Alpha Tauris at 61. Williams, Mercedes, Alpine, but never mind that, it's 5 red lights here in Suzuka. It really is quick fire for us folks, and it's lights out, and away we go on the rundown to turn 1. A good mix of soft, mediums and hards, we'll touch on that later on, but Murphy has held the lead going into turn 1. Toba Tip-Top battling out with Gotti on those wings further back, virtual safety car deployed already.
Chimp with a penalty. There's collisions, there is Rob, who spun around. I'm not sure if he has damage. Tom Tip-Top. There's a McLaren off. Victor Mean has no wing. Well, that was something, yeah. Chimp getting a 5-second penalty for a collision with, I believe it was... I didn't see who it was.
It was Tom Tip-Top he got it with.
Well, that would explain why Tom Tip-Top's where he is then.
Yeah, down into P18. That must have came after the safety car. Whether Tom was just dropping it under traction and get called, I suppose we'll find out in due course. But virtual safety car already, Lee, that's us adding to the percentage. You can see Chimp, the only one with a penalty. Let's have a look at the position changes, because there's some big movers already. Ghost Angel 1 up 5, Tomo Tip-Top down 14, Riordan down 7, Victor Mean down 8, but the top 3 holding in place as we're back to green flag racing. Speaking of the top 3, the Ferrari going for the split strategy of the soft medium, Murphy on the soft, as is MKP and Ben. Funny Oz Chimp getting past Mighty Baguette. Oh, right, well, that's an even better overtake then on the Haas when he's got no front wing. It'll be an early pit stop for him, serving that 5 seconds and changing the wing and changing off those medium tyres as he loses out to Will Simple and Mighty Baguette with round 130. Our AFL Hedgehog, Spider and Victor Mean all on the hards, but we could see a few of those peel into the pits here, Lee. Dramatic start to what is, to be fair, typically quite a dramatic race, and I don't think we're getting much respite from what we got last week.
No, definitely not. Yeah, Marcos went for a move in the Castro Triangle on Murphy. Murphy held his ground. It was kind of a setting, so Murphy just stuck to his line and won. But now Murphy's in a bit of a situation here. He's too far behind him, but he has gained a little bit. So, and maybe Mark Wilson will try and let him go to the A-by to try and challenge the AlphaTauri. Maybe the Ferraris work together. But MKP, so he's right in the back of these guys. Yeah, the top 4 kind of broken road or bench just about there. Everyone seems to be in little groups. You have the top 4, top 5. Then you have Might Be Getting Will Simple, and then further back you have like a train maybe down from 8 to like 16, I think. As Riordan gets passed over.
Yeah, it's sort of breaking up into little groups early on just with that incident, and of course, virtual safety cars, some people might get a better launch than others, so it has kind of gapped up the field a little bit. Interesting strategy battle at the front, though, like you say, the two Ferraris, the trailing Ferrari on the faster softs, behind Mark Wilson on the mediums. Murphy is on those softs as well, so he will have a slight pace advantage, you would say, in tyre mechanical grip from those tyres based to Mark Wilson. However, Mark, if he can hang in there with the DRS, or maybe place the strategic call on the team front and let's go on the softs to attack. But like you say, there's a caveat of that because you've got MKP, you've got Ben, you've got Mighty Baguette, all not too far behind. Mark seems to have very, very good exit from that Casio triangle.
Jesus,
A good
yeah,
run down the first straight. Struggle through the S's, which makes me think, is he running a slightly lower downforce setup here?
It could be, or it could be the fact that obviously the soft tires do have a lot more mechanical grip than the mediums do. So maybe Murph just has faster to there. It's Goatee right in the back of his teammate. These guys are getting very close, and MKP's right in the back as well here. So I'd watch for moving me into the hairpin. One of these could try and send it. Goatee trying to defend from the Williams, holding back for now though. But yeah, Murph seems to be very clear in the first sector, and they seem to get back. But let's see into the hairpin now. Anyone try and send a move? MKP the closest. Being most likely to send a move. No, he doesn't. And Ben has just about gotten back into the DRS. So this will be very interesting. Train Mark Wilson, the all but out in top 5 on meters, but it definitely will come into effect later on. I think there was an instant behind Scott.
Yeah, AFL, by the looks of the standards, I'm still riding on board with this battle, but AFL looked to have a little bit of a loss of grip out of the second Degnan. I don't think he has any damage. It was just more of a slow moving car. I'm going to quickly jump on board with Ghost Danger 1. He is under threat from Warrior Huntsman, who runs a little bit wide on the exit of the second part of the spoon. Ghost, though, trying to attack the Pancake in front, and Riordan is there to mix. Yellow flag, end of sector 2. That looks to be Mean Moody having another little bit of a spin. Murphy puts in the fastest lap time. DRS will now be enabled. I just nearly jumped off and caught back to it. Ghost Danger 1 going a little bit deep into the casino. Pancake losing it on the exit. It's a 3-second time penalty for Ghost for cutting. Pancake is facing the wrong way in the gravel. Topher going side by side with Tobo Tip Top, and Ghost and Pancake losing out big time there. Action galore. Tobo Tip Top trying to go down the inside into turn 1, but we'll jump back to Mark Wilson, who has lost a few positions.
What happened to him? I didn't. I just seen it on the graphic. I didn't really see the battle. As here comes Ben into Degnan 1. You'd be crazy to try to move around here. He's a little bit too far back. Marcos, since I don't know what happened, got double overtaken, and now Goatee will chase after Murphy. Marcos needs to try and hold. If he gets passed by Ben, try and stick in the DRS, because I think at the moment he was quicker, but very soon the dynamic will switch, and we'll see if he's faster. But Goatee trying to catch Murphy on 90% ERS. He's definitely saving his ERS, and really, if you can save your ERS for the back straight into 130R and the main straight, you're doing really well. So I think there's another spin further back. I think that's me and Moody again. He's off to the gravel and Degner too.
Yeah, Moody not having the best of times round what is a technical and tricky circuit at the best of times. Mark Wilson looks to be very good down the straights, and even without the DRS, he is using quite a little bit of the ERS. Maybe that contributing, but I wonder if the setup's maybe more tuned into the 1 lap pace. Then obviously it's going to be a heavy car with around about 50 kilograms.
Oh, he's in.
He is into the pits. Maybe picked up damage in that first stint.
Yeah. So I was thinking, I'll on board him now to see if when he goes into the pits, does he have any damage? It is damage, yeah. So there could be an collision at the front. Maybe that's why. But I mean, from what I see, he had damage. His pace, he lost maybe a second MKP, but he didn't lose much more than that. Oh, Mark was onto the hards. I think he theoretically could go to the end, but they'll be shot at the end. Like, very bad, but we'll see. Murphy seems to be amazing in Sector 1, so I think maybe he's running a higher downforce setup, and he's not using any ERS. That could be why he's losing time on the straights. I mean, he has nearly a full tank of battery, so he's doing very good at the moment.
Saving it for when he needs it. He knows he's just on the brink of that 1 second, so using maybe a little burst every now and again, keep that 1.1 and keep them out of that DRS range. And like you say, maybe higher downforce. He's got a bit more confidence through the corners, so he can afford to be a bit slower down the straights, because you're just going to gain so much through the apex and through the mid points of the corners. So working pretty good for him. Mark, I think, must have picked up damage in that initial sort of first sector of the first lap almost. And unless it was something that was picked up later on with the battle with Gotti and MKP, maybe choosing to just extend it a couple of laps, go a little, go into lap 4, lap 5, pits to the hards, and he know he can likely go to the end. The hards are a pretty durable tyre around here, and to be fair, around most circuits this season are a pretty good race tyre. Further back though, I wasn't on board with MKP. We're going to jump to his teammate Will Simple, who will have the benefit of DRS. The Haas is derating in front already, that red light flashing on Mighty Baguette used through his allocation of DRS down below 10%, and pretty easy move for Will. Next up for him, the teammate of the Haas, BX37 Pro, yellow flag though, further down through the field.
I think on the exit on the corner, maybe it was a collision. I wasn't too sure if he was near anybody. Could have just been lost traction here. But yeah, Will, very good pace at the moment on the medium tyres, so he's one to watch out for at the moment. He's gaining on Ben, he's now down to 5/10. I believe Jordan, I think he made a move in the left-hander in the Dunlop curve. If he did, that's an amazing move from Jordan. Up in the 8th, he's on a recovery charge here after starting P9 and losing 6th position on the restart. He's not holding back at all. As a retirement, that's me, Moody. That is on track, and that's a safety car, Scott.
6 laps in then, Lee. 1 virtual and 1 full safety car, of course. I think we've seen, was it 4 last week? So we're not a stranger to this. Neither are the drivers. And this poses a very interesting question. Of course, the hards can likely go to the end from here, I would say. In fact, they can. I suspect we'll see a lot of the soft runners dive into the pits here. The medium runners could gamble it and go a little bit longer and then jump onto the hards later on, and we'll have, of course, a massive pace advantage at the end, but you may risk losing the pit strategy. And then the hard runners, your Hedgehogs, your AFL, your, Chip Fair has used 2 compounds. It'll be
Murphy
interesting to
stays
see
out.
what they do. Murphy going along on the softs. Gotti following it, jumps into the pits. MKP, BX37 Pro. So Murphy maybe looking to stretch these out and go for a soft medium here.
Oh, Ben sped. Ben got 5 seconds in the proceeding pit lane. Yeah, I think all the medium runners saying there, Warrior Huntsman into the pits. Yeah, most of the soft runners apart from Murphy pitting. Yeah, as you said, Murphy could be trying to go onto a medium and be hoping, if it's soft sugar, maybe he's hoping that the guys on hard get held behind traffic, and then it was also time. Maybe he doesn't want to have to navigate to that traffic. But at the moment, the closest driver to him would be Gautier. He's coming out in 8th, so we have 7 cars between him and Murphy. And I think Murphy's strategy isn't the worst, because Gautier all marks what I drive through. Well, his race has gone from bad to awful, hasn't it?
Yeah, picking up that early damage and now a drive through, and of course you can't serve a drive through under safety car, so he is going to wait for it to go green. But this is the time where you look at this and you either, in about 30 minutes time, we'll either look at this and say Murphy made a humongous mistake, or he is a tactical strategic genius. It'll be one of those tails. Of course, he's got the softs. He is going to lose a little bit of time when they start the die off to those in the hards that are fresher behind. But then if he can come back into the race later on with fresh mediums, with fresh hards, he'll definitely have a great bit of pace on those that he's battling. But then Lee, and not the inevitability, but the high likelihood of another appearance from Mr. Bert Maylander, of course, to factor in. So it's a gamble either way, I would say.
Yeah, I do agree. Obviously, yeah, looking at it's a gamble. Like you said, Scott, we could look at this in 20 laps time, think he's a genius, or we could think he's stupid. So I mean, stupid's quite mean, but if we're being honest, that's what we think. But or maybe I'm wondering. Well, I was going to say rain, but surely the rest of the guys would have stayed out if it was rain. Maybe there won't be that, but who knows? But yeah, Murph, as you said, could go into medium. And on this game, there is a big difference in the tyre compounds in terms of, like, obviously softs a lot faster than mediums, mediums a lot faster than hards, and also fresh mediums being a lot faster than about 6 half-old hards, depending on when he pits. So, I mean, he must be confident in his pace. I mean, he did have 100% ERS and was keeping ahead of guys behind, keeping out of DRS, so he definitely has pace, Murph. So I trust him in this strategy go.
Yeah, he's an experienced head as well. It's not his first time on a racetrack, so he's definitely got an idea of what to do. And like you're saying there with the tyre compounds as well, there is such a big difference in the soft, mediums and hard, and as well as with the way the tyre degrade Previous years it was more of a steady degrade, you could say, with your life and your pace. Now you hit about 30%, there's a big drop off in the performance in those tyres. So if you can, if everybody else is running 25 to 35% tyre life, their lap times are suddenly going to jump. And if you're in there with 5, 6, 7% life or wear on the tyres, your lap times can be mighty faster, even if you're on a harder compound despite the gap. So yeah, like you say, 20 laps time will tell us everything. We shall wait and see. I think the pack should just about get bunched up by the end of this lap, Lee, and hopefully we'll be green flag racing at the start of lap 9. We'll just about to hit the 1/3 mark for this Japanese Grand Prix, round 2 of the inaugural Tier 5 season. And it's Murphy with the 2 poles so far, and he's currently leading round 2. We'll wait and see how it all plays out. Chimp has got a chance at redemption from his early pit stop. Mark Wilson has the drive through, so he might need a little bit of assistance from the safety car later on to try and bring himself back on through. Warrior Huntsman's had a great start from P20 up to P13, and on fresh mediums could be one to watch, trying to peel his way through this pack. Safety car still not decided to be called in, but it can be a very late one any time about now.
Maybe it's coming in. I actually don't know. Will it be called in? I don't think it will.
No, I think we're going to go for another lap of procession.
Yeah.
We are indeed. The full grid, 19 cars plus the safety car, just going for a nice little Sunday drive.
Sunday drive. Jinx.
Sunday drive on a Monday.
I mean, who knows? I mean, a days of the week is just a made up thing anyway. If I say it's Saturday, am I wrong technically? No. There's a little thought. There's a little thought for your book.
Yeah, I suppose it depends. I mean, they do say it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I don't know if you could say it's Wednesday everywhere, but
I mean, it could be, but I mean, also, I mean, just remember, if you want weekly Scott ASMR sessions, then ask him yourself, because I certainly don't want it. But if you demand it, I'm sure he'll oblige.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
During this lap 9 over 27 here of the Japanese Grand Prix. Their main lander is currently leading the race ahead of Murphy. It's an Aston Martin in P1, but it's the one with the flashing lights instead of the one with the rear wing.
wait, it has got a rear wing. Oh, you'd all enjoyed that.
Well, yeah. Where else do you go to get this stuff out? Tier 5. I mean, I think I checked last week, Scott. Now, all of our commentators, all of our drivers are brilliant this week, right? But I do believe, last time I checked, we had the most views out of any stream last week.
Oh,
I mean, that's all I'm saying.
Actually, I think Tier 1 had the lowest. In fact, I know Tier 1 had the lowest because Nathan was trying to figure out ways to boost that. Of course, you've got free grids racing on a first day, and various overlaps. Monday's a little bit quieter, and there is a bit of a gap between the races. 7:30 for the Tier 4 boys and 8:15 for us, of course. But to be fair,
we're just that amazing. To be fair, we just have that. We have that pull about us. It should be in this app, I do believe.
Who would have thought the most attractive people to come and listen to watch a virtual F1 race is a diabetic Scotsman and an albino Irishman? It's quite a combo. What a team we are, mate. What a team we are. But yeah, like you said, safety car is going to go in. It is going to be back to green flag racing. We are officially 1/3 of the way through this Grand Prix, and it's going to be Murphy to decide when he goes for the restart. You can see that throttle blipping up and down as the game tries to restrict him. Gets a little bit of a twitch, but does get away enough. I think we're all through safely. The gaps are a little bit big, but Riordan tried to go for a moving curly. I think he got held back by the game and had to cede position.
MKP. Oh, there's a Spain. Victor Means round. Chimp's into the pit. Stars Marcos on the server drive to. I think Chimp got more wing damage. He did get more wing damage, so I'm not sure what happened back there. Maybe a collision between him and Victor Mean, as there's cars side by side going into the S section down in the battle for P11. Obviously, we in column points are shared down the top place. This is the battle of points at the moment. Warrior Husband on the back of Ghost Angel 1, who has a penalty, and this time the fires as there's Will is round.
he's
Really
round
has
on the
spun that.
exit of the second Degna, probably going a little bit deep. He is waiting.
Oh!
He's been disqualified for going the wrong way. That is a harsh one. He was trying to hold out of the way and not drive into oncoming traffic or block. Yeah, it's a tricky one because you don't want to. Obviously, you can't drive the wrong way. He was doing it for a good cause, and that is a really disappointing retirement for
What's
him.
the battle for P3 here, Scott?
Oh, yes.
There's 2 Alpha Males and Alpine sandwich.
There was a big
Here we
battle
go.
going on.
Here comes Tomo Tip Top. Can he do it into the air? Oh, Riordan goes very wide. And now into the chicane. Riordan tries to send that on the inside of the other Alpha Males. I can't. Yeah, we're starting into the chaos levels last week. Gautier going for one Hedgehog. There's a yellow flag. I'm not sure who that is. That's further back. That is the Ferrari Mark Rosen is spun again. But on to the main shape we go. Riordan wanting to make the move, jumper in the 3rd place. There's battles everywhere. Riordan can't gain. He's not gaining enough on the straight. Here comes Tomo Tip Top on the inside. He can get the move. Gautier holding behind on Hedgehog, but all this is helping Murphy, who is just getting further and further away. And everything's helping him. Ghost Danger 1. Ghost Danger 1 making a few moves. His pace is, as you've seen, quite good today. He's up in the P10.
Yeah, Ghost Danger 1 showing a good little bit of race pace here around Suzuka, up into P10, jumping ahead of AFL. Yeah, well, simple, disappointing DSQ. Probably one of those that maybe could have got away with just resetting the track. Pleaded his case to the stewards, however. It's
Victor Mean!
for him. Victor Mean out of the session. This could
Safety
be, and it
car!
is.
Oh,
a
Murphy, you
full safety
beauty! He can go mediums to the end, I believe.
Absolutely. I think the soft medium strategy, you had to stretch those softs to around about lap 11, 10, 11, 12. It's going to be, lap 13
Oh, Murphy.
by the time we get racing here. The safety car will pick them up on lap 12. They'll do at least one full lap. And it'll actually be probably lap 14 before we get green flag racing. 13 laps on mediums, easily doable. And I expect we'll see the whole of the top 6 and Ghost Angel 1 and AFL into the pits here, Lee. But we're down to 17 runners from 20, 1 DSQ and 2 DNFs. The second safety car of the night. Let's jump on board with Murphy as he takes us a run into the iconic Suzuka pits. If he doesn't, I'll be very, very surprised. Yeah, he does.
He's in. As Mighty gets in, Curly stays out. Maybe he's going soft tires. He stays out. Riordan and Tomo Tip Top staying out as well. Alfa Romeo boys staying out. I would have thought one of them would split. Gautier stays out. MKP stays out. Yeah, as you would expect, all the high runners staying out. Warrior Huntsman stays out on mediums. AFL stays out, surprisingly. Tolfer stays out. Yeah, Murphy down to the P10, P11 now with Spider going past. But I think we're going to see a Sierra Murphy overtaking extravaganza, as they would say if you're posh. Yeah, I mean, based on you, Scott, I would have thought that the old people have no brains left, but I think Murphy must have something that you don't. Anyhow.
You've just offended about 3/4 of the game. I'm not old. You're just young. That's all it is.
You're ancient. Sorry, you're ancient.
I'm not having this slander. Terrible. Calling Murphy old and calling me stupid. Who does this young buck think he is?
You're not stupid. You're just mentally deficient. We'll put it on the top.
Thanks, mate. I'll take that as a compliment.
You're welcome. Anytime.
A good mix-up in the strategies here then, Lee. Like you say, the 2 Alfa Romeos, I'm surprised. Neither of them made a pit stop yet. Must be running to try and make those medium soft work. Yeah, it's a bold strategy, I suppose. Once again, we'll find out in 15 laps' time. Either we'll be looking stupid or they might look stupid. But you would have thought that one of them would have went for the split. Maybe Tomo would have saw Curly stay out and decided to opt on for a set of hards and split the strategy to try and maximise the chance. But both of them opting for that mediums, trying to stretch them out probably for softs. Got it for low in MKP, BX37 Pro, 5-lap old hards. Most of them hards laps have been done under safety car. You can understand them staying out. Warrior Huntsman will be in a similar position and maybe, just maybe, can stretch those mediums right out to the end. AFL been on the hards from the start. Well, he's probably pushing those long, try and get a nice run at the end on mediums or some softs. And the rest of the pack, pretty similar situation to go MKP and Ben here, Lee. Either very, very little tyre wear on the hards or onto a fresh set of hards or mediums. The only outlier, Ghost Angel 1, opting for a red stripe set of softs. Now, they should take him to the sort of low to mid-20s. It's a bold call. Tomo Tip Top, though, making another bold call, and he is into the pits and going to lose position time over foot, but is it worth it for the fresh tyres? Track position instead, or giving up the track position, sorry, for a fresh set of hards. Maybe he's been listening in.
Maybe he has, you know. I always get wonderful insight from me and Sky. Now, currently the only one, well, the main one, I want in the lead, but Gaultier now, we'll be hoping that he can get past Curly. I hope that Curly does a Fernando Alonso hungry type of defense. Especially, and I hope Murphy, you know, I don't wish anyone damage, maybe it's hope Murphy gets tangled up in an instant, shall we say, but yeah, Gaultier at the moment. In P1, MKP in the net P2, Ben in the net P3, although he doesn't have a penalty, and a Warrior Huntsman. 20 laps on mediums, I'm not too sure about that. Maybe he's banking on that, what's it, 80% chance of a safety car, Scott? So, we'll see.
80% chance of a safety car, or at least one safety car, virtual safety car, happening in a race. Well, you've had a triple dose so far tonight, folks, in 13 laps. MKP02, I was hoping, you know, I heard you say that, and I was just looking at a couple of messages just to see how things are going in Tier 4 and as such, and I was hoping MKP was in P2, because I was going to call him MKP2, but didn't quite work out. Anyway, I'm waffling just for the sake of waffling, mate. I think we are reformed up in this Alfa Romeo sandwich. Currently leading it, and Tom with Tip Top, the bottom bread, at the back. So I think we are mostly ganged up again. There's a little bit of a gap there from Ghost Angel to Mark Wilson, but that'll quickly come down, and we should, hopefully, for lap 14, we're just about to cross the halfway mark. In fact, we will just have 13.5 laps for this Japanese Grand Prix, and it will be Curly this time to get us back underway. Yes, it is.
Here we go.
Now, the de facto safety car is that Alfa Romeo. He can bunch up the pack as slow as he wants, as long as he keeps a nice steady speed, which he is, 50 miles per hour.
What's that in kilometers? No, that's smart.
It is. It is.
He's definitely below. He's definitely below 50 at the moment.
Yeah, he dropped down from 50 down to 35. But he is causing a lot of chaos here. There's wing damage at the back. I think that is Ghost Angel 1, and this pack really bunched up. That might be one that gets a little looking into. We'll wait and see, but it is
here comes race Gaultier.
Restart. And Gaultier,
he wants to get this one straight away.
Fresher hards
go for
on
it.
The old mediums, goes for a move down into turn 1.
He sends it! RG, great move from Gaultier, up now into P1. MKP getting past Curly into P2, and so does Ben up in the P3. Murphy's down to 11, he's actually lost the position, I think, since the restart. Not gaining too much yet. Hedgehog now up in the P10, but the Curly and Warrior Huntsman side by side, and now Curly's fallen down, and maybe what he's hoping for the strategy hasn't really worked out here, so I don't know what he would do now. Two Aston Martins behind him, charging at him like a green machine for them.
a green team riding their machine up into P6 and P7 on the hunt down for Curly. I don't know if it was just as we see EFL tag at the back of Curly, loses a position to his teammate Topher. I don't know if Curly maybe just suffering from a lack of tire temps and grip on that restart, but losing time and positions hand over foot. Speaking of that, Murphy's
got damage
to Mark Wilson, and I'll explain why he's struggling so far. Down as Curly rejoins, loses a little bit on the curb and makes contact, dropping right down through the pack, losing out to Mark Wilson, to Hedgehog, to Mighty Baguette, to Pancake, to EFL. Let's try and say that 5 times quick as you like.
I feel bad for Murphy. Mark Wilson, Hedgehog goes deep. Mark Wilson, very edgy. The two guys are stuck on each other there. Mark Wilson's passed, maybe a little bit aggressive. Mark Wilson trying to just fight his way through. Mark Wilson's in here, he does have damage. All his Hedgehog, both of them drivers are pitting. Murphy in as well. Your front row are now going to be at the back. Hedgehog's third in the pit. I think that's kind of fair enough. But, you know, still time last minute, maybe not. But let's see. Gaultier is gone. He's now 1.3 clear. Ben's up into P2. MKP down to the P3. Chaos at the restart, as you would always expect. But yeah, Murphy, who we thought would make a charge to the field, now down into P13, and would just be hoping for another safety car. He got damage going into the back of Hedgehog, actually. Broke very late into... No, Mark Wilson was, sorry. Broke very late in the spoon and then just lost his wing there, as the gap at the front down to 1.2. Ben with a 5-second penalty for speeding the pit lane, so yeah, Eddie's next time should be very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Chaotic as ever, I think we could say. Safety car, very, very chaotic safety car, just with the pack being so bunched up. 35 miles an hour just before the restart, and the grid not really ready for that. And the concertina effect, I suppose. So a few runners into the pits once again, a few with some damage, and Hedgehog ultimately choosing it wasn't worth continuing on. Warrior Huntsman is continuing his Warriors hunt through the pack. I knew I was going to get some crap joke in at some point about that, Lee. He's up from P20 all the way to P4 and is hunting down MKP for P3. Ben in P2 though, putting the fastest lap of the Grand Prix and a 31.796 sees the Haas get the purple times on the board and has caught up that gap to Gotti Fallon, but he has got, like you said, that big old 5-second time penalty hanging over his head as Warrior Huntsman gets a little bit loosey-goosey through the exit of 2, manages to hold on. I don't know why I said it like that. I think my voice was starting to go. We're going to jump quickly back though to the battle for P6 as Mighty Baguette got very close to the rear of AFL and Pancake, and Riordan claims the purple time for himself. And
he got damage as well, actually. I didn't notice the Jordan's damage. He must have got damage off that reset as well. So all the drivers who we'd say to be at the front are now towards the back, and well, likes to tow for Pancake about game from the Mighty Baguette as well, Chimp as well. But Ben keeping with Gaultier at the moment, but he has used a lot more ERS. He's on 27%, whereas Gaultier is on 52%. As there is battles further behind, I believe.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. Might be duking it out with AFL through the exit of the hairpin. Might be getting the move ahead of the Aston Martin. Of course, penalties galore for a few of our drivers. Might be is one of them 5 seconds either speeding into the pits or for contact under safety car, virtual safety car. Ben, we of course saw speed into the pits, and Ghost Angel 1 6 seconds for track limit penalties. Stops as well. AFL still yet to stop. The top 7 all made 1. Chimp has made 2, and Spider already 3 stops in 17 laps into this Grand Prix. The mechanics are getting their money's worth. Going to quickly jump forward then to MKP. He's kind of dropped off Warrior Huntsman a little bit in this last lap here. Of course, DRS won't be enabled just yet. It should be enabled, I think, for the next lap coming as Mighty Baguette makes a move on Pancake into tournament. It might be already enabled.
It was enabled, Jessica.
I lost count of the laps, I'll be honest.
It's slowing down as you get old. You know, I understand.
I blame you. You know, there was the tradition last season, Lee, of you getting ill the day before a Grand Prix, and I get ill the day after the Grand Prix. And AFL is having an ill time with it round the S's. They are losing out a bunch of time with a half spin, but keeps it going forward. Mark Wilson getting the move on Rob, who seems to have had a little bit of a disaster through turn 1 and 2, also putting in the fastest lap on those softs. He might just be able to stretch him to the end, but another safety car could come into effect. We shall wait and see, Lee.
Yes, we shall indeed. There is a very good battle here currently for P5 between Topher, Baguette, Chim, and Pancake. These 4 drivers. Oh, it's Chim! Oh, that's a lag spike. Jesus Christ. I was like, why are you going straight on into the wall there? But you know, that didn't happen.
We were riding on board with Chimp there, so we were.
It's always
that was quite the sight. Just straight on at the first apex of the spin curve.
Warrior Huntsman
picks up a free.
Oh, MKP! No! MKP's round! On the exit of the chicane, he spun as Ben goes for the lead up in the P1 without penalty moving over now. Or is he. I don't know why he. Did he give it back or did he just have it off for injury? MKP round. Falling back down now in the P4, but yeah, as Mighty Baguette going for the move on Topher now on 11 volt tires. The tires should make it to the end, although they will be quite dead, to say the least. Topher now down into 6, and Chimp will be trying to look for position back, but yeah. What move is Tom tip top past Pancake, Riordan up until 11 past Ghost Angel 1, who has pitted, and should come out in P14, I'm moving behind the AlphaTauri, but yeah, battles everywhere at the moment, Scott.
Yeah, up and down the grid, everywhere to be seen there's a battle of some sort going on. Mighty Baguette, it's got to be said, if he didn't have that 5-second penalty, he is in a great position. Ben going for the move and got A into turn 1. I think he just used too much of the curb on the inside, and it unsettles the car ever so slightly. tends to drift you out, but the two of them doing very well not to make contact. Topher going a little deep into the hairpin. He has got funny Oz Chimp keeping him honest. 8-lap-old mediums versus 11-lap-old hards. Towards the end of the Grand Prix, they both should make it, given the amount of yellow flag safety car racing laps we've had. Chimp should have a little bit of a tyre advantage at present. And he is going to see if he can make that work on the exit of the Spoon curb. Run down to 130R. The Aston Martin, leading the Mercedes down through this long left-hander at the end of the back straight. And then it's all about the Casino Triangle. Should be DRS for Chimp. He's got Tomo Tip Top for company behind in a great position as well on 5-lap-old hards. We'll see if this battle carries on. Ben couldn't quite make the move on Gotti into turn 1, but we'll see if Chimp can make one on Topher. Topher going to the inside to defend. Chimp going around the outside, gets the move done before the entry point to turn 1, and a brilliant move from the Mercedes on the Aston Martin there, Lee.
Yeah, Chimp in a very good position on the main tires. He just seemed to have quite a lot of pace. As I said, he goes a little wide in this section, but yeah, in his next target he might be getting that penalty, which if it was unfair and he stays up to the end, it can get removed. That's up to him to report that or not. Yeah, Chimp's on good pace, and yeah, now we'll be fighting for P5, and yeah, it's further behind Tom tipped up on the back of Topher. Now Topher's round. That's a waiting off, and that could be a safety car, I do think. Let me see. Yes, another safety car. That would be great for the likes of Riod and Marcos and Murphy, all those guys. Maybe not as good for Gaultier, though. Because I think Ben might pit onto a set of, let's say, softs and get the 5-second removed. Because if he pits now, he'd only fall down to, what, P6, P7, I think? Yeah, but we'll see the strategy call. This is quite interesting. A Topher DNF and on the exit Digna 2 there means so you have 4 DNFs and 1. No, it's 4 DNFs and 1 DSQ. I'm correct in saying that. We'll see what the front guys do. We'll Gaultier come into the pits or stay on those old tires. Gaultier, the Ferrari, will go into the pits, as will Ben, as will Huntsman. Yeah, these guys are going to go on soft tires. I think we're going to get another sprint to the end here, Scott. Unless MKP stays out, which he does not. I thought he was going to stay out there for a second. Chimp, though, stays out. Chimp is going to be your race leader, I think. And now, this should be interesting. A driver out on mediums versus the rest to get out on softs. Most of them, anyway. This is going to get interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, I think a lot will depend on, do they have a fresh set of soft? Ben going for a fresh set of mediums, so maybe not having one in the locker. Chimp opting for that track position, but with all the cars behind him going on fresh tyres, it might be a little bit of a disaster. Warrior Huntsman is probably going to be one of the unlucky ones out of this, of course. He is one of few that has a penalty, and he cannot serve that penalty. You can't, of course, serve your 3-second time penalties in the pit. Ben gets rid of his, as does Mighty Baguette, dropping down to P9, the Frenchman in the Haas. However, fresh softs, we're going to see a good battle to the finish. Mark Wilson, interestingly enough, sticking out in his softs. 5 laps old, of course, maybe doesn't have another set to go on, and opting to stick with his guns. The red striped softs, a little bit worn, but still going to have a bit of pace, and opting over a one of the few cars, in fact, pretty much the only car aside from Murphy on used tyres of any kind of variety. And I wonder as well, if you look at the likes of Murphy, 5 lap on those mediums, you'd probably think he would like to pit onto softs. Is he going a little bit lap extra? He's got some catching up to do. Make sure he gets caught up. In fact, no, sorry, that's Spider I'm looking at on the minimap, the Alpha Tauri at the back. But he's maybe going to go next lap, and he's not going to lose as many positions, and we could see a little bit of the tactical masterclass maybe coming in from the experienced head. But either way, Lee, I think it's going to be a 5 or 6 lap shootout here in Japan. The skies have definitely cleared up a little bit from the start of this race, so no threat of rain, I would say. It is going to be an interesting finish, I think, to an interesting race.
Yeah, I mean, when there's another interesting race here into Scott, but yeah, Warrior Huntsman, I know he has that penalty, but I still think he deserves a big round of applause. P3 from the back of the grid. Obviously, the 3-second penalty won't help him, but he's shown good pace, so, and obviously with Ben on mediums behind, he could, if he holds the proper behind, a podium is still in the question for Warrior Huntsman. Well, the win maybe not so. It would be between Chimp and Gaultier, and who knows who else will get past behind. But yeah, I think we'll get 6 laps under the racing conditions. Obviously in lap 22 we should restart, so 6 laps. I'm correct in saying that, yep. So, should be quite the interesting. As I'm very curious to see like MKP, you know, sporting, but getting the chance to try and put that right here, and he'll be hoping that Chimp can make that Mercedes 2 times wider and cover the whole track.
Bunch the boys up, as was once said by myself back in my back in my season 4 days. I think is the technical term. I mean, a great recovery for the likes of Mark Wilson as well. We've seen him have a sort of spurts of pace in qualifying at the start, and then just little incidents here, little mistakes here, and just things going against him. You know, the drive through earlier on. Currently P7 on the oldest of the hards, but a chance for some good points. Same with likes of Murphy, you know, sticking out. This just goes to prove you. I'm not going to pick out names, but I am Hedgehog 11. Maybe could have stuck out this race a little bit longer. Could have had a chance at some points. We'll wait and see how it goes. All our cars, and it's one thing I've noticed as well this season, just with how maybe closer the grid is, and not just in tier 5, in every tier. Anytime we've had a safety car, I don't think we've had a single car actually ever go a lap down yet, which was quite a common thing, not just in tier 4 last season, tier 3, tier 2, and occasionally in tier 1. A lot closer racing, and means that things like this, you know, there isn't lap cars in the way, Lee, is what I'm trying to say. There isn't anybody out of position that's really battling for nothing. There's 15 cars running, 12 of them will get at least a point, and everybody has something to play for as Murphy jostles with position. Jostles for position, with Ghost Angel 1. I think AFL just losing touch with the pack for a second, catching Murphy and Ghost off, and the two of them switching positions
It's
ever
in.
so briefly. But
Here we
it's going to
go.
be safety car back in. It is going to be Chimp leading the pack here for the restart, Lee, on what it is a 6-lap sprint around the 18 corners of Suzuka. Not long to go then before we get our podium. Chimp going a little bit of a higher pace than we saw the previous one. However, he is getting limited by that restrictor before the safety car comes in. But he is away now, and we are back under green flag racing. Got A for long, getting a good exit. Look at this little train, very, very tight together. Nobody really getting caught sleeping too much, and Gautier can't get the move into turn 1, has to settle back in behind the Mercedes. It's Mercedes from Ferrari, from McLaren, from Haas, from Williams, from Alfa Romeo, the top 6 all in different constructors. A real good battle shaping up here, Lee, for the final few laps. MKP very close to the rear of the Haas of BX37 Pro. Warrior Huntsman, though, even closer to the rear of the Ferrari, going into the first Digna. That would be a brave place to make a move. Jumps over the curb like a pony down the racetrack and can't quite get the move done, but it is going to be a run up to the hairpin for the top 6. And a very, very uneventful restart. I was about to say, NKP goes for a big move down the inside. I don't know how they've kept that out of the walls and out of each other. Mark Wilson gets the move done.
Oh, there's contact a little bit. At the front though, Gautier going for the move on Chimp into Spoon. Kirby makes it, and now we'll be open to the lead, and we'll try and sit away, but Chimp will not let this go too easy. He'll use his battery, he'll have the slipstream, and I'm wondering if we're going to see him move into 130. As you said, it wasn't eventful, Scott. Everything got eventful again.
As soon as I said it wasn't eventful, it just flicked the switch and everything went a bit chaotic. MKP really close to the rear of Ben once again. And here comes Mark Wilson with an audacious send.
Oh my god!
And that is...
almost round. He's down into P13. As might be getting, Pancake made contact. The bottom of the bit of wing damage, yep. Everyone kind of as Warrior Huntsman going for P2 here against Chimp. He makes the move, and now Chimp we get passed by BX37 Pro as well as a real running shot of 5 second behind the and he will retire in the pits. Yes, he will retire in the pits. Mark Wilson down to 7th. Oh, what's happening? Scott? Yeah, you really jinxed it being a relaxed start, didn't you?
I did, but I think Mark Wilson may serve a penalty for that move. It was a really, really audacious, over sort of enthusiastic attempt into the casino triangle, trying to go for 2 cars into a tight hairpin, a tight chicane, and it really caused a little bit of drama for those behind. So unfortunate for those involved. AFL though having a good race despite being the last one to pit. He's up into P6 now, and this top 4, thanks to that, is now 2.7 seconds clear. Warrior Huntsman will maybe not be looking on for a podium here unless he can gap Chimp by enough, but at the very least he could maybe shape up and squeeze a P4 out of this race lead. But the battle for the lead firmly between Gautier, Fallon, BX37 Pro, and with just over 4 laps to go, advantage Le Fallon.
Yeah, advantage at the moment, yeah, but I reckon Huntsman could have a little say in this battle. He is gaining on the back of the right. No DRS this lap, I don't think. It'll be enabled next lap. So Ben will be hoping the Huntsman goes for the move. Maybe there's a little argy-bargy between the two. Or as he makes a mistake, he almost spins it. I've almost come there close to him. He saves the car. He is within DRS. That's Pancake. Would that be another safety car? It is! We have another one!
Now
Drama.
there is choices. I don't expect any of them that pit on the softs the last time Lee to go into the pits, but what does Chimp do? What does Murphy do? What does Mark Wilson do?
I think Chimp stays out realistically. Because if he pits, he'll be down to what, P10, P11? It's too much of a risk, in my opinion. But I reckon, see, Chimp might pit in the hopes that everyone pits behind him, which is not impossible. But I don't see it personally, so I think it's a win for Chimp. I think he stays there because his pace isn't bad. Like, he was still what, 1.7 behind Ben, and about 2 seconds off Warren Huntsman and all that. So his pace isn't bad enough for him. So I think he's supposed to stay out. That's what I think. But you know, maybe he won't. We'll have to wait and see.
It'll be an interesting call regardless what all the drivers do. We're on lap 24 here. The safety car will pick up the pack at the start of lap 25, and then it will come in at the end of lap 25, Lee, because 26 and 27 we need 2 green flag racing laps at the end of this Grand Prix, so it will be a literal run round the circuit under the safety car for one final time before a 2-lap sprint to the finish. It could be a little bit of a disaster, this for Warrior Huntsman, with those 3-second time penalties. Might see him drop further down than he previously would have, but we will wait and see what the call is here. Gautier Fallon, I would be very surprised if he opts to jump into the pits knowing all this. Yep, he does not. Huntsman won't, Ben won't, Chimp
stays out.
Holds for the track position, as does MKP.
Murphy
Because
stays
Chimp
out.
is effectively, remember, in P3 with that 3-second time penalty. And it'll all be about how far Warrior Huntsman can try and hold that gap, and how far Chimp can defend ahead of MKP and AFL. All of them staying out. Mark Wilson, 10-lap old softs. You would normally think they're dying, but bear in mind, I think about 16 laps have been under safety cars.
yeah, about that. So it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, but Ben would be hoping the Huntsman can try and have a little have a fight with Gautier if he can sail up the inside maybe. But Gautier has been in control of this race pretty much the whole. Apart from since the halfway point, obviously Murph was in there for the first half, then got damage, all that chaos happened, and that feels like forever ago. Because that's how many safety cars in this race. But Gautier, the Frenchman, will be looking to secure his first win, I believe, in Cologne. I could be wrong, but yeah.
Don't have that stat to hand, but I think
it
could very well be. I do know he's been around since season 4, and I can't think he has been up and down between tier 3, tier 4, so I'm not too handy with that. Warrior Huntsman, of course, I believe he is actually a previous CRA champion all the way back in season number 3.
Those days.
That was even, surprising enough, that was actually even before my time. He had a big battle with BX37 Pro for the CRA crown back when there was only 3 tiers here in Cohen. Look at us now with a whole 5.
Should be in this lap. It will be in this lap, sorry.
It will be in this lap, yep. 2 safety car free laps we need to finish off this Grand Prix. 26 and 27 will be that. It's going to be a very chaotic 2-lap sprint to the end, judging by what we've seen previously. Gautier Le Fallon once again going to lead us through a safety car restart. Sorry, not once again, it was Ben Chimp last time. So Fallon going to lead us on the safety car restart.
Oh, he's going slowly.
Again, there's contact behind and there's wings damage galore. I think that's Ghost Angel 1 and Curly, the concertina effect into the final chicane.
Oh, Ben's into the wall, he's out! He's out of the race, Ben, losing traction, and now down and DNFing machines everyone who finished the race now. So Mark Wilson going down the inside of AFL, open the P5. He could be in a shout for a podium, who knows. Further down behind, the two Alpha Male swap positions. But yeah, Gaultier doing what he needs to do with 2 laps to go here. He's currently in the lead and very comfortable. Chimp at the moment holding on to what would be a brilliant P2. And I believe MKP would just about sneak a P3 here, but it's going to get very close towards the end of this race, I do believe. But yeah, Ben hooked on for a certain podium here, just losing the back end out of the final corner, and now we'll get nothing from that. Up at the front, Huntsman trying to maybe just, obviously, maybe he won't get the win on penalties, but just trying to push away and maybe try and hold on to what would be a podium just about, I do believe. But he's right in the back of the Ferrari here, trying to go for the lead. Obviously, on track, the lead battle will be on. Let's see, Gaultier holding on for now. But jeez, chaotic at the restart. Ben just getting on the power too early, and now he's gifted the podium to someone else. But let's see what happens here, as everyone kind of close behind Huntsman getting a bad exit on the going out of Spoon. But we'll see what happens as we're about to head on to the final lap, Scott.
Yeah, final lap, shit out, Ben, you say. It just, you know, he's like they all always say, his eyes were bigger than his stomach there, and then maybe just pulled the trigger ever so quickly. Mark Wilson going for a move on MKP into the Casino Triangle. We saw this go wary earlier on in the race. AFL being very careful not to make contact, and Mark Wilson loses out a bit of time. Of course, no DRS. We haven't done the 3 laps needed to get that, so it is going to be a sprint, just purely on pace, purely entire wear, and purely on ERS to the finish. The gaps at the moment, Warrior Huntsman is just going to maybe... He's somewhere in between, anywhere from P4 to...
We'll have to wait and see.
To P6. It could really chop and change quick as anything, but got Afalon, got that second clear. Warrior Huntsman 1.4 clear of Chimp, MKP clear of Mark Wilson at the moment.
Might be getting Spider
dropping down.
Might be getting brilliant move.
Tip Top goes up down the inside into the Dunlop curb through the Degna as he goes, and Rob dropping down to P10. AFL close to the rear of Mark Wilson, but he's got Murphy keeping him honest, keeping him company as they head into the hairpin on this final lap. 12 cars still running this Grand Prix, Lee. All 12 of them deserving of picking up a point for making it this far, and a really, really tight battle. We could see some signs into the Casino Triangle here, mate. I think I seen a car, was it running a little bit wide? No, maybe
Mark
not.
Wilson it was, I think.
Right, did run a little bit deep there. It hasn't seemed to have lost him too much time. Murphy very, very close to the rear of AFL, but I don't know if he's going to be close enough. They are burning their battery like there is no tomorrow. As MKP gets the
MKP on Chip! Up to the line, he wins in Japan, and Roy Hudson will get P2 actually. MKP up into the chicane into P3, Chimp 14, lost to just there. Mark Wilson P5, AFL 6, Murphy 7th, might be get 8th, Spider in 9th, Paulo Tip Top in 11th, Curly in 12th, and the Ghost Engine 1 around your points. MKP went for that. He sent it, he saw an opportunity and took it about hands and said, that's my podium. A podium for the Williams driver. Go to the F1, flawless from start to finish, was always up there. The Frenchman, I did a favour by saying his name the French way at the end there, you know, just tradition. Ghost Engine 1 will score Alpine's first points in Tier 4, I believe. Not a good you know. Ghost Engine 1 getting points, something you always love to see. You cross the line in P12, and that is an end to another, as it always is here in Tier 4, amazing race.
Yeah, it was a incredibly mental race. It generally was just all over the place. Action from, you know, start to finish. MKP going for that move right at the death of the race. There might be some contention there. Did that cost both him? Maybe cost him P2. He maybe got P3 at the cost of Chimp getting P2 and him getting P3. But I suppose guarantee the P3 over your rival getting a P2. You know what I'm trying to say, but a mental race here, Lee. Got Afalon from P3 up into P1, gets the win. Warrior Huntsman last in the grid to P2. Even with the time penalty, just pulling out enough of a gap. MKP completes the podium ahead of Chimp. Mark Wilson P5 with the fastest lap ahead of AFL and Murphy on a recovery drive, your pole sitter for the second time this season, having a poor bit of luck in the race. Might be get ahead of Spider, ahead of Tomo, ahead of Curly, and Ghost Angel 1 scoring the first point of his season in P12. Ben will, I believe, just be classified because he made 90% of the Grand Prix finishes in P13, ahead of Pancake, Riordan, Tovar, Hedgehog, Victor Mean, Moody, and Swill Simple, who round off the grid. We'll see if we can get Gotti, Fallon, Warrior Huntsman, MKP, and you know what? I'm very tempted to ask Chimp as well, because he had a bit of a mad race. He was the bold one at the end, and just to get his reaction, hopefully it's a nice reaction, but
I doubt it, but yeah, I want to say Warrior Huntsman, what a drive. Last one good, didn't set lap P2. My driver of the day without a doubt. What a drive. As I'll send Chimp in with the party as well, actually. I'll do that.
Yeah, we'll get the top three and Chimp in. He didn't quite make the podium, but he was ever so slightly close, and I think, you know, he was on for a podium to the end, and I want to hear from him. He's a good lad.
Right.
He's desperate to try and he's desperate to try and get a chat. So I would love to just hear from him as well.
Of course, yeah. And didn't they? I mean, I'm sure there'll be no hostility involved with MKP and Chip. You know, absolutely zero.
It was a nice, clean move. So hopefully,
it was, to be fair. Yeah, I will give you that.
Hopefully everything is all above board. Everybody's nice and happy. I know we certainly are after watching a race like that. The second one of the season. A second different winner, of course, as well. It's been a brilliant season so far. Next week, we will go to Melbourne in Australia, where who knows, we may see another race winner. It might be another pole for Murphy. But enough. We'll wait and see. What have we got?
We want Hedgehog.
Chimp is well. I don't think Chimp will be joining us for a chat because he's generally broke his headset in rage. MKP isn't going to join us. Maybe another night for him. We'll wait and hear from Warrior Huntsman. But we quickly have Gautier Le Fallon, our race winner tonight. That was a crazy race for us to commentate. How was it to race, my friend? Well, bear with us. We'll hopefully get a word from the race winner. He is in the party with us. If you're speaking, mate, we can't hear you. Hedge asking for an interview. No, mate, you need to finish the race to even have a chance at getting an interview.
I mean, he could interview on behalf of Chimp, you know.
Oh,
we had it in Brazil. Had it in Brazil last year. What was it? Starny did an interview on behalf of. I can't remember who it was actually. It was one of the Aston. It wasn't Rob. It was either Aston Martin. I forget who it was.
Yeah, it was Deluxe, I believe so.
Yeah, Deluxe. You know, now in Tier 4 as a reserve, I think. But yeah, crazy race.
I'll wait and see. I think it is just Gotti that has joined us. I don't think Huntsman or MKP able to join us, and Chimp seems to be physically unable to speak at the moment.
If you look in Tier 5, you'll see why Gotti isn't speaking. His mic doesn't work, so.
Oh, your mic doesn't work. Well, Gotti, you can hear us anyway in the party.
We'll translate.
Hopefully, anyway. And I know you are a Frenchman. You speak very good English in the text, and I'm not even going to try and butcher my pronunciation of French, but I would just like to personally take the opportunity to congratulate you on your win, and what is a provisional win at least, we'll say. You look to have a pretty event-clear race in terms of penalties, so I would suspect the result will stand, but it was an entertaining race to watch. Congratulations on the win tonight, and Lee, there's no questions to ask, but I'll let you add a little comment if you want for him.
Yeah, I mean, you look really composed in that race. I saw before the race you were hoping for a race win because you said your pace was very good, and you delivered on that pace. You put early on the hards, then put on the softs, just always looked controlled. It was never really in doubt, I don't think. But yeah, amazing drive, and hopefully we'll get the same look for you down under in Australia next week, Scott.
Absolutely. I don't think, judging by the pace tonight, I don't think it'll be Gotti's last chance on the podium. So hopefully the mic will be working next time, mate, and we can get a
I think
little.
Shims might work.
Well, Chimp might need to go buy a new one by the sounds of things. Really upset at losing that P3 to
Oh my god,
MK3.
look at it.
It's oh.
You look at tier 5. That's too funny. Oh my god.
Oh, brilliant. Chimp was getting psyched up for an interview, only for it to all go Pete Tong in the last corner and for the headset to get broken. But Gotti, thank you for joining us. Unfortunately, unable to hear from you, but congratulations once again tonight. Lee, thank you for joining me again, mate. It was I'm so glad I've got a full-time co-commentator as well, especially one like yourself that can keep up with all the action, because there is just so much of it.
Yeah, it always is in tier 5, you know, it's... I'm out of breath again, you know, it's crazy. As I'm not sure if you see it in the chat, but Goatee said it's hard to need there is and I need some beer. That's the best way to celebrate, mate. Best. That's the Sky Freefall way of celebrating.
Exactly. That is a lovely interview. A very short and sweet. Hard race for Goatee to lead. Really just
all you need,
how quality the battles were, and he's off to have a celebratory beer. So congratulations to him. But yeah, one or two. But yeah, Lee, 2 action-packed season openers. There's of course a free seat open that will be allocated in the coming week before we head to Australia for round 3. It may be somebody dropping down from tier 4.
We need Alpines, man.
It may be a reserve stepping in full time. We'll wait and see. However, that'll all be brought to everybody's attention before next Monday, where we go to Australia, Melbourne, a street circuit at heart, I suppose.
Australia, mate.
I would keep working on the accent, mate. You might just about perfect it by Monday.
I won't go with the day job, don't worry.
Of course, and it is of course Funny Oz Chimp's home Grand Prix VS racing.
What? I know Chimp said don't have a chat, so maybe his mic isn't broken.
Maybe it was just theoretically broken. We'll see. Anyway, even if he does join, I think we've waffled on long enough, Lee. We'll just forever live on infamy that he broke his headset out of rage, and I think that could be down as one of the moments of the season. Thank you for joining me once again tonight, mate.
I've put it there already, don't worry. Yeah,
get it in the suggestions.
I'm putting it in as we speak, don't worry.
Lovely stuff. Thank you all for joining in and tuning in. Make sure, of course, Tier 4 was on slightly earlier on tonight, kicked off at 7:30 with Tier 3's very own Hargreaves, and alongside our very own lovely top commentator, the man that is Jamie Indigo. He'll be back live with our very own Tier 5 driver, Hedgehog 11, for the Tier 1 race. That kicks off at 8:30 on first night. Before that, you've got Jonathan and RDR Glowstick at Tier 2 at 8 PM. And even slightly before that, you've got our very own Spider and AFL for tier number 3. He has just joined, so we'll get 2 quick words out of you, Chimp. Can you summarise that race in 5 seconds or 5 words or less?
I think his headset's disagreeing.
I think his headset is completely broken.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Chip, before, but we can. It's very static, so.
We'll end it off here. That's all from myself, all from Lee, and from the late edition of Optimus Funny Oz Chimp coming at us in his full robotic voice. Make sure to join back on Thursday night for the rest of the races, and catch me and Lee next week for the Australian Grand Prix. Thank you all for joining us, and have a very, very